Hello and welcome back to a chapter day. It is Friday. Yay! Made it through another week safely. Thank God. And we'll be reading Deuteronomy chapter 13 today. And it is June the 28th. I remember because yesterday was my granddaughter's birthday, June 27th. Okay, so with all of that said, we are still reading about Moses having a talk with the children of Israel because he is not going with them into the promised land, and he wants them to really do it right, to remember all the things that they went through with God working on their side, how they complained and murmured and brought God's anger and wrath, even to the point where he lost the opportunity to go into the land of Canaan because of the anger that they generated in him from them continuous complaints and seeing God working with them. I mean, evidence of God day and night. But it's, what? It's just like us today. I would love to say, oh man, wag a finger and all that stuff. You know what? I do the same thing. So it's always good to remember how God led you in the past. And I know I do some murmuring sometimes with God and complaining. But I have to remember, hey, did God do this for you the last time? Then chillax, stop your nonsense. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 13. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice. You shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to you to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk in. So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him. But thou shalt surely kill him, thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And thou shalt stone him with stones that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you. If thou shalt hear say in one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell there, saying, Certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, Let us go and serve other gods which you have not known. Then shalt thou inquire and make search, and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought among you, thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof with the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shalt burn with this fire the city and all the spoil thereof, every whit, for the Lord thy God, and it shall be an heap forever. It shall not be built again. And there shall cleave naught of the cursed thing to thine hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and show thee mercy. and have compassion upon thee, and multiply thee, as he has sworn unto thy fathers, when thou shalt hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep all his commandments, which I command thee this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord thy God. End of chapter 13. So what Moses is saying here, you know what? If somebody comes to tell you something, and even if the thing sounds true, or they try to prove it to you that it's true, that they had a dream of some sort, that's why I don't really trust the dream interpreters, truth be told. I know there was some really inspired ones in the Bible, like Joseph and Daniel. But there are certain people, and you have to know people's lifestyles. I'm sorry, I look at your lifestyle, and you come to give me an interpretation of something from God or some message. Yeah, God knows me. This is what I will say. God, you know me. You will, I don't believe that certain people will be sent to tell me certain things. But like it's saying here, if that dreamer of dreams or prophet, call them a prophet. Now, I guess you can have prophets that are not of God, like Balaam. Still questioning which one he was. But if anybody comes to tell you something about turning away from God, whatever it is, and it has to do with turning your back on God, you tell them, get thee hence. They need to be gone, because that is not of God. And if you follow them, you are going to end up in a mess. And I think later on, we're going to be reading about a prophet who did just that. When God gives you a message and he tells you don't do something or do something, and you know your relationship with God, that's why everybody has to know their relationship with God. If you know you can't tell what's going on in your spiritual life, then maybe you might need a spiritual guide. But I think the Spirit of God should be in every believer, that when you hear from God, you know in your heart and mind, in your spirit, this is from God to you. But so be it. But that sort of thing, if any prophet came along, even if it's one of the most renowned ones, and you know we have some of those that people look at and look up to, draw large crowds and huge anyway. But if they say something that is not of God, don't listen to them. Back in the day, they would have them stoned. Okay, so this is what Moses is trying to remind the children of Israel. And that's the end of our reading for today. Remember, faith comes by the hearing of God's word. So until our next reading, I hope you have a good weekend. All right, bye.